I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
The wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's...
Goldberg once again found herself at the center of controversy after going after a young woman on live television. Referring to Karoline Leavitt, she openly questioned whether this was even her first real job and suggested she needed to do a little homework. What really triggered Whoopi was Karoline's statement that there would be no wokeness here. Instead of debating policy or ideas, Whoopi immediately framed it as ignorance, implying that without wokeness, Karoline wouldn't even have a career. The tone wasn't mentorship. It was dismissal. And viewers felt it instantly.
The View hosts have got themselves into hot water again after they did the very thing they purport to be against, undermining women's success.
Whoopi doubled down, delivering a lecture about history and opportunity. She claimed wokeness was the reason women and black Americans gained access to colleges and careers, arguing that without it, Karoline wouldn't be sitting where she is today. But the argument felt oddly rewritten. Women didn't gain rights because of buzzwords or modern ideology. They earned them through decades of sacrifice, persistence, and courage, long before social media slogans existed. What Whoopi presented as history sounded more like political branding than truth.
This young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah. Let
me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a person's.
This is where the irony hit hardest. The same panel that constantly calls Republicans conspiracy theorists was now rewriting history in real time. They spoke with total certainty, yet ignored the fact that women's rights movements existed long before wokeness became a cultural label. Instead of celebrating a young woman's success, they framed it as borrowed privilege, conditional and revocable if she stepped out of ideological line.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous
moment. Even more jarring was Whoopi's recent past. She had already been suspended, publicly criticized, and embarrassed for previous comments. Most people would pause, reflect, maybe show restraint. Whoopi did the opposite. She came back sharper, more dismissive, and more aggressive, this time aiming at a 27-year-old press secretary rather than a policy debate. It felt less like commentary and more like personal resentment.
If you're a deranged lunatic and you're mentally ill, you will believe that lie, and yes, you will take political like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was an That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day. And I'm so sick and tired of the media pointing the finger at Donald Trump and saying that he is sowing division in this country. He is not. The media is for pushing hoaxes like the one that you all pushed today, and the Democrat Party is for pushing lies about him. But the good news is Americans don't buy it. And that's why today President Trump is more popular than he has been since 2000.
Instead of challenging Karoline's arguments, Whoopi attacked her legitimacy. The message was clear. If you criticize wokeness, your success must be illegitimate. Merit doesn't matter. Preparation doesn't matter. Only ideological loyalty does. That's a dangerous standard, especially coming from a show that claims to champion women's empowerment. Empowerment apparently only counts if you agree.
Caroline, on immigration. Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
You're going to point at the worst first. They all have a criminal record?
And welcome to the
If they broke our nation's laws, yes, they are criminals.
Then Joy Behar jumped in and made things worse. With complete confidence, she suggested Karoline only got her job because of her looks, referencing Donald Trump's past comments. From a panel that lectures endlessly about sexism, this was stunning. Conservative women, it seems, can't succeed on talent or intelligence, only on appearance or favoritism. The hypocrisy was impossible to ignore, and viewers didn't miss it.
Launched overnight. Now, I know she's been around for some time, but how's this? She's just 27, but she's fantastic. This is the brand new press secretary representing the president. Now, remember old Karoline Jean-Pierre just lying to people about how amazing Biden was, deep fakes. The one before that, Jen Psaki, circle around just telling lies. Well, they've been replaced with a lady called Karoline Leavitt. I repeat, you can see she's a lady of faith. She's a lady who knows how to fire guns recreationally, and she knows how to drop a few bombs verbally on a press pack that, remember, covered up for Biden and have told the worst possible lies about incoming future Hitler Trump. Have a look at her taking control of a room of people who normally wouldn't even roll their eyes at a person like her, but now they've got to listen.
Karoline Leavitt didn't apologize. She didn't back down. She pushed back hard. She called out the media, accused them of spreading hoaxes, and challenged the constant narrative that Donald Trump alone is responsible for division. Her response caught the hosts off guard. They weren't expecting resistance. They expected submission. Instead, they got confidence, clarity, and direct confrontation, live on air.
Think, ABC having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit would think not to engage in conspiracy theories about assassination attempts, but I guess that's too much to ask from The View. I gotta ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
The reaction on the panel was immediate panic. Sunny Hostin rushed in with legal-sounding spin. Ana Navarro added her familiar condescension. It turned into full damage control mode. The show stopped feeling like a discussion and started looking like a crisis meeting. The truth was exposed in real time. Strong women are celebrated until they think independently. Then they become a threat.
We will expose the fake news when they are fake. We will hold them accountable for their lies and smears of President Trump. I can also assure the American people that they are going to be hearing directly from the leader of the free world. And the press likes to hear that too. That's something that has not happened over the past 4 years. We've had an incompetent, senile president, as proven by that scathing Wall Street Journal report.
The backlash exploded online. Viewers accused The View of undermining women while pretending to defend them. Clips went viral. Ratings reportedly took a hit. International commentators praised Karoline's performance, calling her sharp, confident, and fearless. Meanwhile, Whoopi's comments added to a growing list of controversies hurting the show's credibility. What started as an attempt to lecture a young woman turned into another self-inflicted wound for a program already struggling to stay relevant.